Hello, Marvelous fans. Are you ready to step into the world of Megaman and meet one of its most iconic characters? He's bold and enigmatic. He stands out as a high-ranking Maverick Hunter. He's also known for his unwavering dedication, his razor-sharp Z-Saber, and his unyielding sense of justice. Alongside X and Axel, he battles against Mavericks to protect humanity in a future where peace feels like a distant dream. Meet Zero, from his starring role in the Mega Man Zero series, where he takes center stage as a legendary warrior, to his enduring legacy in the Mega Man ZX series. Through Biometal Model Z, Zero's journey is a tale worth telling. In this exploration, we'll dive right into Zero's origins, dissect him through and through, and uncover his secrets in the Mega Man universe. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Who is Zero and what is his origin? Zero, the Crimson Warrior we all know and love, had a rather surprising beginning, tied to none other than Dr. Albert Wily, Mega Man's infamous rival. Crafted in the dark days of 20XX, Zero was Wily's greatest creation, a creation designed to surpass both Mega Man and Bass. The first hint of Zero's existence came in Mega Man, the Power Battle, where Wily teased Bass about an unstoppable new robot. A glimpse of Zero's silhouette followed in Mega Man 2, the Power Fighters, filling us with curiosity and excitement. Determined to perfect his craft, Wily learned from his past missteps, like the creation of Bassnium and his earlier robots Bass and King. Zero was built as a masterpiece. He was more advanced, more powerful, and more formidable than anything Wily had constructed before. Rumor has it that Proto Man's design served as an inspiration for Zero's creation. Zero's mission was to hunt down Dr. Light's creation, X, and to unleash the destructive Maverick virus, ensuring the future would remain engulfed in turmoil. How sweet, right? Things would have gone according to plan too if Wily's vision hadn't hit a snag. Turns out, Zero's cognitive program had a fatal flaw that made him uncontrollably violent and disobedient. To fix this, Wily planned to reprogram him using the Maverick virus, but unfortunately, time wasn't on Wily's side. As his life drew to a close, both Zero and the virus were left incomplete, sealed away in a hidden lab. Zero waited silently, destined to awaken in a world he was meant and made to destroy, a world he would ultimately fight to save. How does Zero's personality influence his journey? Zero's personality is something that's gonna keep differing depending on who you ask. To the Mavericks, he's the epitome of cool under pressure, dispatching them with ruthless efficiency and a side of sarcasm. Don't expect Zero to stick around for the monologue if you're a Maverick spouting off grand philosophies or taunts. He'll just cut you down mid-sentence and go about his day. Behind the armor and icy demeanor, though, lies a warrior who deeply cares for his friends and allies. Zero fiercely protects X, Axel, and the Maverick Hunters, often putting their safety above his own. He's the kind of guy who'd walk into a blazing fire to save a kitten. Whether it's battling Vile in Mega Man X, or heroically piloting a shuttle to destroy the Eurasia colony in Mega Man X5, Zero doesn't hesitate to put himself on the line for the greater good. His protective nature came at a high emotional cost during the Great Repliforce War. Zero was forced to face his friends, Iris and Colonel, and their deaths at his hands left him shattered. Beneath the stoic exterior, Zero carries the weight of those he couldn't save, making him a deeply human character despite being, well, a robot. While he may not wear his emotions on his sleeve, Zero shares his friend X's dream of peace between humans and Reploids. Unlike X, who struggles with the moral complexities of combat, Zero doesn't mind the fighting. Early on, Zero served as a mentor to X and helped him unlock his full potential. But over time, he came to respect X as an equal and often acted as his voice of reason, grounding him during moments of doubt. Zero also took Axel under his wing, despite initial frustrations with the younger Hunter's exuberance and shady past. Their relationship evolved into one of mutual respect, with Zero mixing tough love and playful teasing. Of course, Zero wasn't always the epitome of heroic coolness. When Dr. Wily first created him, he was an uncontrollable maverick with a love for chaos. Upon his release, he rampaged with maniacal glee, tearing apart Sigma's team like a robot tornado. Even now, traces of that darkness linger. Under the right conditions, like exposure to the Maverick virus, Zero's darker persona can awaken, revealing the obedient, misanthropic warrior Wily always intended. In the Mega Man X5 bad ending, we catch a glimpse of this sinister side, a solemn reminder of what Zero could have been. What role does Zero play in the Mega Man X series? When Sigma kicked off his Reploid rebellion on June 4, 21XX, Zero found himself in the hot seat as the new leader of the Maverick Hunters. Why? He was the highest-ranking hunter, and he hadn't jumped ship to join Sigma, of course. Talk about a promotion with perks no one asked for. Meanwhile, X, who wasn't even officially a Maverick Hunter at the time, showed up eager to join the fight. Zero agreed, perhaps seeing potential or just needing all the help he could get. The duo hit the highway to take on the Mavericks, but things got pretty dicey. X found himself cornered by Vile, trapped like a rookie on his first day. Enter Zero, the cavalry with a Z-Buster, blasting the arm clean off Vile's ride armor. He delivered some classic hero threats, forcing Vile to retreat to his ship, the Death Rogamer. X, understandably shaken, doubted his own abilities. Zero, however, gave him a pep talk about unlocking his true potential through battle. Now, this conversation was rather hilariously mistranslated in the English version, but it still stands. With X knocking out the Maverick bosses, Zero uncovered Sigma's floating fortress and rallied the rookie for the final assault. Leading the charge like the absolute boss he is, Zero took the brunt of the enemy fire so X could sneak into the base. Inside, they ran into Vile again, and Zero, ever the worrier that he is, decided to handle him solo and leave X aside. Yeah, things didn't exactly go well, and Vile's new ride armor proved too much, leaving Zero caged and X facing a humiliating defeat. Zero wasn't done though. With sheer strength and a side of dramatic flair, he overloaded his Z-Buster, blowing apart Vile's ride armor and freeing X in the process. This left Zero critically wounded, and lying bisected on the floor like a tragic action movie hero. But let's focus on the silver lining. Now fully fired, X defeated Vile and rushed to Zero's side. In his final moments, Zero passed the torch. If X had found the arm parts, Zero proudly declared him stronger than ever, ready to face Sigma. If not, Zero handed over his arm buster, hoping it would tip the scales in X's favor. What are Zero's key abilities and weapons? When Zero first hit the battlefield, his weaponry consisted of the simple yet devastating Mighty Zero Buster. This bad boy didn't just fire shots, it obliterated obstacles. Hell, it was much more powerful than X's X-Buster. Case in point, it tore the arm off Vile's ride armor like ripping open a stubborn pickle jar. And if that wasn't enough, Zero's physical strength was off the charts. In his debut match against Sigma, he didn't just hold his own, he outclassed the Maverick leader in hand-to-hand combat. Things got better and way cooler in Megaman X2 after Zero was rebuilt. That's when he received his signature weapon, the Z-Saber, a glowing beam sword that's as deadly as it is awesome. With this upgrade, Zero became a master swordsman, slicing through Mavericks like nobody's business. His secret weapon was studying his opponent's data, learning their moves, and adapting with dazzling special techniques. Add in his versatility with other melee weapons like daggers and hammers, and you've got a Reploid who's basically a walking armory. Now let's talk tech. Zero's power source is solar energy, just like X, proving that even in the future, renewable energy rocks. His body is made of titanium Z alloy, a material so tough it makes vibranium look like aluminum foil. Hidden within his sleek design are two mysterious mechanisms, the Z-Brain and Z-Heart, rumored to house an unknown, untapped power. Only God, and I guess Dr. Wily, knows what it actually is. Zero's energy core was designed by none other than Dr. Wily himself. According to Wily, Zero runs on a power source even more potent than Basenium, which was already leagues ahead of most Reploid tech. So while Base was busy being all bark and no bite, Zero was quietly powering up to become the supreme Maverick Hunter. How does Zero's origin tie to the Maverick virus? We've already established that Dr. Wily's grand plan for Zero was to cause destruction. He figured out the best way to get this done was through the development of a virus known as the Maverick virus, which ideally would turn Reploids into destructive maniacs. Not only had he managed to design this successfully, but he'd also intended for Zero to be the perfect vessel for this virus. Unfortunately for him, and fortunately for everyone else, Zero's programming hiccup made him uncontrollable, and Wily planned to rewire his mind using the virus, but he ran out of time and sealed them away in the lab. Now fast forward to the 21XX era, and Zero was awakened by a group of unlucky Reploids. This was bad news for them, because Zero's first instinct was not to play nice. He destroyed the intruders, and earned himself the Maverick label, a fancy term used for being a major threat to humanity. Things escalated when the 17th elite unit of the Maverick Hunters was sent to deal with him. Zero turned them into scrap metal, prompting their commander, the famous Sigma, to step in for a one-on-one showdown. At first, Zero seemed unstoppable and gained the upper hand against Sigma, but then something weird happened. The gem on Zero's head started glowing with a mysterious W symbol. Of course, Wily had to leave his signature. Anyway, this sent Zero into agonizing pain, giving Sigma the chance to punch the gem, shatter it, and win the fight. Victory, right? Well, not so fast. In breaking the crystal, Sigma unintentionally absorbed the Maverick virus. Cue the dramatic irony, the virus turned Sigma into the very thing he'd been fighting against. As for Zero, the defeated Red Warrior was taken to Dr. Kane on Sigma's orders. When Zero woke up, he had no memories of his rampage and was suddenly as docile as a puppy. Well, a puppy with a plasma cannon. Seeing potential in this newly mellowed Zero, Dr. Kane enlisted him into the Maverick Hunter's 17th Elite Unit. What no one realized, however, was that Zero was still a ticking time bomb. The Maverick virus lingered inside him, dormant but very much present, like an evil little secret waiting to resurface. How does Zero overcome emotional conflicts? Zero's story is honestly a heart-wrenching tale of loss, guilt, and emotional growth. And yes, it comes with the occasional robot existential crisis as well. Nowhere is this more evident than in his tragic relationship with Iris and the events of the Repliforce War. Zero finds himself caught in a conflict that pits him against Colonel, his friendly rival, and Iris, the Reploid he deeply cares for. Despite Iris' pleas, Zero faces off against Colonel, knowing full well that the battle might sever ties forever. The fight ends tragically with Zero defeating Colonel, leaving a painful scar on his conscience. The heartbreak doesn't end there. Iris, consumed by grief and rage over her brother's death, fuses with Colonel's control chip, transforming into a disastrous combat form. Zero, despite his best efforts, is forced to fight her, leading to her untimely death in his arms. In her final moments, she wishes for a world where only Reploids exist, a haunting desire that lingers in Zero's mind. Cue the violins and buckets of tears. This crushing series of events leaves Zero questioning his purpose and the very nature of his existence. How can he justify fighting when it leads to the loss of those he swore to protect? Are Reploids doomed to a cycle of destruction and despair? It's heavy stuff for a robot wielding a laser sword to worry about. This led him to confronting the leader of Repliforce, General, and defeating him. During their fight, General figured that they had bigger things to worry about, as someone was aiming the final weapon at Earth. Zero rushed to the control center only to come face to face once again with Sigma. Sigma reminded him of the day they'd met, and reiterated Zero's beginning of being a Maverick. To add to that, General sacrificed himself to save the world, and Zero wasn't able to save him. That was the cherry on top for an already emotionally unstable Zero. Zero's emotional struggles resurface in Project X Zone, where Iris reappears in a bizarre twist of fate. Her presence forces Zero to confront his unresolved feelings and deep-seated doubts. Vile, ever the charming antagonist, mocks Zero for his emotional turmoil, leaving him paralyzed with guilt and confusion. Thankfully, with the support of his allies, Zero regains his resolve, accepting that a Reploid-only world was never his true desire. Iris' final words encourage him to keep fighting, offering a bittersweet sense of closure. His struggles shape his growth, making him a hero who fights not just for justice, but for the hope of a better future. Sure, he may not have a therapist, or even the time for one, but let's face it, only a few robots can rock an emotional breakdown and still save the day with a Z-Saber flourish. What transformations or forms expand Zero's powers? Zero's got some awesome forms that crank his badassery to 11 on a scale of 10. The three coolest transformations are Black Zero, Awakened Zero, and Absolute Zero. Let's get into Black Zero first. Think of Black Zero as Zero's edgy alter ego, the kind of look he'd sport to a cyberpunk gala. First introduced in Megaman X4, this version swaps Zero's classic red armor for a sleek black with platinum blonder hair and a purple Z-Saber. In X4, it's just an aesthetic color change, but by X5 and X6, it boosts Zero's attack and defense. In X8, Black Zero's stats are rebalanced. It doubles attack power, but it cuts defense in half. In Command Mission, Black Zero becomes a hyper mode, giving Zero a stat boost that makes him a force of nature right from the start. Then there's Awakened Zero, the form that is all Maverick. This is Zero's true form, unleashed in Megaman X5, where he's fully infected by the Zero virus. Unlike Black Zero, this isn't just a cosmetic upgrade. It's Zero with all the brakes removed. His magenta energy waves scream pure chaos, and he gets access to techniques like Shingetsurin, and at higher levels, Genmu Zero. A move so overpowered, it's practically a one-hit KO. Fighting Awakened Zero is like trying to wrestle a hurricane. You're probably going to lose, but at least it'll look cool. Now for Absolute Zero, where things get downright feral. Introduced in Mega Man X Command Mission, this form trades Zero's swordsman grace for clawed madness. Looking like a cross between a gothic knight and a devilish bat, Absolute Zero obliterates defenses. Forget weapons, his claws are the star of the show, with attacks like Crimson End, a slash so fast and deadly that enemies wonder why they even showed up. He's also got Killer Left and Brutal Right, which sound like names of moves from a pro wrestling match, and his action trigger, Calamitous Arts, makes battles feel like a rhythm game. Absolute Zero's flair doesn't stop in Command Mission. In Mega Man X Dive, he's back and his moves are as extra as ever. Crimson End lets him dash through enemies with immunity, while Calamitous Arts slow down foes. Because nothing says I'm better than you like making your opponent move in slow motion while you annihilate them. How does Zero evolve through the Mega Man Zero series? After the Mega Man X series, Zero felt uneasy about his body's connection to the Sigma virus. He checked himself into a research institute like the responsible Reploid he is. They studied his body while his mind took a little vacation elsewhere. This groundbreaking research led to the creation of cyber elves, especially the powerful Mother Elf, which X used to erase the Sigma virus, and finally put an end to the Maverick Wars. Peace, though, was still very far. Dr. Whale, the grudge-holding doctor who'd corrupted the Mother Elf into the Dark Elf and kick-started the catastrophic Elf Wars, came into play. His evil plan, Project El Piso, involved using Zero's original body to create a weapon known as Omega. Luckily, the researchers crafted a replica of Zero's old body, giving his consciousness a new home. Now back in action, Zero joined X in the fight against Whale and Omega. Together they prevailed, leaving Whale cursed with a regenerating armor and banished, and locking Omega away in orbit. Once the dust settled, Zero bowed out and chose to return to stasis, convinced the world was safe under X's watchful eye. X tried to argue, but Zero was already halfway into sleep mode. Legends never rest for long, though. Zero was brought back by CL, the brilliant young leader of the Resistance, when Neo Arcadia and Copy X started causing trouble. In the Megaman Zero series, we can see him reuniting with old friends, hello Cyber Elf X, and gaining new allies in the Resistance. He stood tall against Dr. Whale and Omega all over again. Guess there's no getting rid of these guys. His story reached its emotional climax aboard the falling space station, Ragnarok. In his final showdown with Dr. Whale, Zero put everything on the line to stop the madman's plans. With the Earth's safety in the balance, Zero made the ultimate sacrifice, ensuring the survival of his friends and the world below. What is Zero's legacy in the Mega Man ZX series? Centuries may have passed after Zero's epic adventures, but his legacy doesn't just fade into the sunset. Oh no, he's back, and this time he's living on as Biometal Model Z in the Mega Man ZX series. In this new chapter, Zero's essence is contained in the mysterious Biometal Model Z, which is initially held by a character named Girouette. Girouette may sound like he should be a fancy French pastry, but trust me, he's more of a plot device. Model Z's true destiny takes a turn when Girouette passes it on to Vent and Ale. Zero's power is now in their hands. But wait, Model Z doesn't just play solo. Nope, the fun really begins when you combine it with Model X, the other half of this dynamic duo, transforming into the mighty Model ZX. You know, because one hero is never enough. Model Z's true potential shines, as it allows Vent and Ale to channel Zero's incredible strength, skills, and abilities. However, as with all great hero stories, there's a little mystery left hanging at the end of Mega Man ZX Advent. The fate of Biometal Model Z is a bit of a cliffhanger. When Vent and Ale go off to do their thing, like saving the world, Model Z stays behind aboard Ouroboros to hold off the rival Megaman. Classic Zero move. Even in his new Biometal form, he's still out there holding the line, protecting the future. Marvelous verdict. That's the story of Zero, the unstoppable Crimson Reploid who refuses to stay down, whether in battle or in spirit. What makes Zero such a memorable character? Maybe it's his unwavering determination, or the fact that despite his flaws, he's always fighting for a better future. Oh, let's not forget his dynamic relationship with X. If you could take away one thing from Zero's journey, it might just be that no matter how dark things get, there's always room for redemption and growth. That was deep. Anyway, what do you think? Do you think Zero's legacy lives on through Model Z? Or should there have been more of his story left to tell? Also, which Zero transformation is your favorite? What part of his story resonated the most with you? I think mine was the robotic existential crisis part. So relatable. Comment your thoughts down below, and let's get this discussion going. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone!